If swimmers can't control their arms during underwater kicking, they're not going to be able to control their legs during underwater kicking. And if they can't control their legs, they're not going to be creating much speed. Let's fix that. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. Creating stability in the upper body is the foundation for effective underwater kicking. If swimmers can't create it, they're not going to be able to create speed. It's not necessarily about how much movement swimmers create, it's all about controlling that movement. However, sometimes they need to take away all the movement in order to learn how to control it. Let's take a look at how to develop this skill in a way that's simple, easy, and effective to implement. Effective kicking requires effective undulation, and undulation starts at the top of the body and travels down towards the feet. And so swimmers have to be able to control their upper body to get that wave of undulation started. If they can't, they're not going to be able to get the wave of undulation started, and they're just going to be flopping their feet. And while that can create some speed, it's not going to optimize speed, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. And the problem is too many swimmers have no control of their upper body. There's often too much movement, and even if there's not too much movement, it just isn't controlled, it's not intentional, it's not being used to start that wave of undulation. It's just kind of there, and that's not helping anybody. So we have to help swimmers learn how to control the top end of their underwater kicking so that they can optimize the business end of the kick, which is what the feet are doing. So we'll take a look at this skill here. You can see that the upper body is relatively stable and the hands are moving in a relatively small undulation, and that undulation is then traveling down the body, getting bigger and bigger, and then showing up in that really effective kick at the end. And so it's all about creating some stability in the upper body and then using that stability to generate that wave of undulation, which results in a really effective kick. Now this swimmer here is going to have a little bit more range of motion coming through the upper body, but it's still the same concept. The hands are controlled, the hands are moving in a purposeful way, and the undulation is starting from the upper body, traveling down the body, and getting bigger as it goes. And so that's the key skill that swimmers have to appreciate. They can't just be moving all over the place. They've got to be able to control it and use the upper body to create undulation so that swimmers can kick effectively. And a key learning principle is that experience is a whole lot more valuable than explanation. Swimmers learn through sensation rather than the words that we as coaches tell them. To help them learn a new skill, they need a new experience. They don't necessarily need another explanation. And when it comes to underwater kicking stability, the simplest way to help them understand that skill is to help them feel it. So we have to use strategies, we have to find strategies that help them feel stability and still let them kick effectively so that they can learn how to use that stability and turn it into effective underwater kicking. So the strategy we're going to use is wall kick. We're going to have swimmers hold onto the gutter, hold onto the wall, and then dolphin kick really hard, really fast. And that's it. My guess is this is almost certainly a strategy you've heard of, and it's probably a strategy you even used. However, we're going to use it for a different intention. The focus is on how their hands are locked in place, and they've got to undulate around that locked-in stability. And so what we're trying to help swimmers develop is the ability to control their upper body, not move too much, and more importantly, move in the right way. And because the hands are locked in place, the hands can't move. So we have instant stability, and because we're having them dolphin kick and dolphin kick aggressively, they also have to learn how to use that stability, let that wave of undulation travel down the body, and turn that into an effective kick. It's a really simplified skill, it's a really low pressure environment, and it puts them in a position to feel it and to be more effective. So while using wall kick for this purpose, you have them focus on keeping that stability and then undulating around that stability, and then you have them do some regular underwater kicking, and it's much more likely that they're going to be able to take what they were feeling, what they were experiencing during the wall kick, and then actually make it happen when they go underwater. By pointing out the purpose of the exercise, by drawing attention to that aspect of it, we can help them better feel that skill, and once they can feel it, they can learn to execute it and apply it during regular underwater kicking. So here it is, super simple, super straightforward, no real surprises here. You can see that the hands are locked in place and they've got to have a wave of undulation that travels down the body. It gets bigger as it goes down the body. There's no motion in the hands, and then it slowly gets bigger as it travels down the body, and you see a nice snapping kick at the end. And so super simple. So it's a very simple exercise, but it's an effective way to help swimmers understand the key idea of how to create stability in the upper body and then use that stability to create a wave of undulation that travels down the body and results in effective kicking. Now, once swimmers get the hang of it, start challenging it. So you can add different kick rates with a tempo trainer. You can have them do it at slow rates so that they're going to have to learn how to create a bigger wave of undulation. You can do it at fast rates to help them understand how to create a faster wave of undulation. Both are important, both are effective, and you can have them alternate between the two so that they can learn how to manage and switch back and forth between the different skills to develop even more control over what they're doing. You can also add resistance, doing it with drag socks, doing it with fins, and in this case, the fins most definitely serve as resistance. They will not make it easier for swimmers. They will have a lot more resistance on their feet when doing wall kick, or you can use shoes as well. By having that extra resistance, it makes it more difficult for them to generate that wave of undulation. They've got to work a little bit harder. They've got to be a little bit more stable. They've got to be a little bit more intentional. And once they can do it against the resistance, it becomes that much easier to do without the resistance. Not only do their skills improve, it has a strengthening effect as well. And of course, we're not trying to be expert wall kickers here. We're trying to help swimmers learn how to kick fast underwater. And so by transitioning after wall kick into underwater kicking and doing that frequently, that's going to give them more opportunities to take what they're feeling, what they're learning during the wall kick, and make it happen during underwater kicking. So a couple sets here. The first set, they're going to go 3 100s freestyle, descend 1 to 3. They're going to go 10 wall kicks each wall and then 6 dolphin kicks each wall. And they're going to have a tempo trainer in, and they're going to go at 0.70 seconds per cycle, seconds per kick, each and every wall kick. They're going to descend those 1 to 3. The wall should be pretty consistent. They're just going the freestyle a little bit faster. And if they go faster on the freestyle, it's going to be harder to execute those kicks as they get a little bit more tired. They're going to repeat that for 2 more rounds, and the kick rate's going to get faster. And swimmers should also get faster because each of those kicks is going to be 1/10 of a second faster. That's going to add up over all those kicks. Next set, a little bit more speed-based. They're going to go 4 rounds through. They're going to go 4 times, 10 on, 30 off. Wall kick with drag socks, and that is fast, so they are absolutely letting it rip. That's going to be a challenge with that added resistance. Then they're going right into 2 12.5s underwater with drag socks. They're fast, trying to maintain that same stability. And then they're going to go a 50 swim, strong effort, 12.5 underwater fast each wall, trying to put it all together and then transitioning to the surface and then doing it again, coming off the turn. So a couple different ways to challenge the skills, incorporate the skills into some training, work the skills hard, challenge the skills while also improving the skills. If you want to learn more about how to develop really effective underwater kicking stability, check out the video below.